AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships. Now, if I missed anything, did we get a bracket or anything yet?
To my knowledge, no, unless it
Okay.
was debuted on Collision, but I do not believe so.
Okay, so we have AEW Women's World Championships that's been introduced. In my opinion, much needed. If there's any titles that actually came into play, it should have been this because they have this plethora of women that always are in tag team competition, and the women's roster is already overloaded as it is. So this gives them actually something else actually to do. So I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on these women's tag team titles finally coming to AEW?
Man, I feel like this is AI right now, and me and you are swapping what our history would have proven as a take on this. I'm not too excited.
Really?
Unfortunately, besides Ty Mello and Anna Jay, I don't really think of any women duo. Obviously due to like pregnancy and stuff, but they haven't been consistently on the show, but they've been together for a long duration. Britt has been affiliated with some people. Britt hasn't been on the show. Jamie Hayter was affiliated with people. They're not no longer really somebody that I would find her synonymous with. Tony Storm, same thing. There's a lot of makeshift, like short-lived relationships. I don't think there's enough grounds for actual teams. I am happy for the women to have more options. Obviously, they have the two singles titles, but at the end of the day, you could say they got 4 singles titles when you factor in Ring of Honor. And if I'm correct, I think Ring of Honor is introducing a third singles women's title. So they're going to have like 5 singles belts between the two companies, which feature both championships all the time. And obviously, you got Mercedes Moné running around with 8-9 championships from other companies. To me, I just can't really come up with. I have a hard enough time coming up with 2 teams that should be competing for these belts.
Is Sky Blue still teaming with Julia Hart?
They probably are, but both of them have been kind of injury cursed. And obviously, like Julia Hart, I believe they're still running together. They'll probably end up in the tournament. But like she had like her Julia Hart had like her like quiet fade away from like the House of Black, and then obviously Malachi leaves and Buddy is hurt, and then now Brody King's over here doing he's a tag team champion with Bandito, which again a makeshift team. I know a lot of people are a huge fan of it, but to me, I look at that as a transitional team.
So, like I was saying, you actually hit on it too. Early AEW, it was valid because like you had Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker, then you had the NWO of the Outcast with Saraya, Ruby, and
Tony
and Tony Storm at the time. You always had Ty J, but Ty got pregnant or whatever, so we got them going for a little bit. But then you saw Anna J teaming with Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron is probably like the MVP of
Willow and Chris Statlander at a point.
Yeah, they were, yes. Harley Cameron, in my opinion, is probably one of the biggest MVPs of the company because even when Mercedes, like that whole
end up in the finals of this thing, we don't even know who she'll be a team with. I think she's gonna have some. I think when it leads up to it, I think she's gonna like tease one in a team with like 4 different people. That's kind of the direction I think.
Yeah, it's the fun thing. Like I know you remember like the whole Heath Slater angle in WWE.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When he teamed
with Rhino. Need Rhino to team with her.
Yeah. So Harley Cameron, she'll be like the one that's searching for a partner, and I think that'll be fun because, like, I talked about this a lot throughout the year. A lot of what kind of like brought Mercedes back for me personally, I'm sure a lot of people, was the stuff with Harley Cameron, and the fact that Harley Cameron like had that backstage moment with her, bringing in Minnie Monet and having that whole moment with her. I thought it was really fun. And then also like she teamed up with Anna Jay at the same time. Anna Jay while Ty was out, kind of like hopping from partner to partner. I think that's going to be a good storyline to actually tell when it comes to these AEW women's tag team titles. But I do think it's about time they have it because I'm not sure they're still doing this, but even like we had Deanna and Taya, I believe. I'm not even sure that's still a thing or not.
Deanna, as far as I know, as I just mentioned, and I think I said this on the show 2 weeks ago, she's in a tournament for a new mid-card title in Ring of Honor, as far as I know. That's not something I don't know if she advanced. I don't know if she was eliminated first round. I think I texted you the day after this. I was rewatching Revolution 2024 because I wanted to rewatch Sting's retirement match. Beautiful again, by the way. But before that match was Deanna versus Tony, which had that phenomenal build up, and the storyline, the tattoo, all this. But like Deanna's presence, I've never been like huge on her. I've never knocked her. She didn't cultivate to me like other characters do. But rewatching that, I was like, damn, they really did let her aura dip, because like that entrance, and I don't know, obviously it's a smaller stage, but in that big arena for that show, she came out, she was a star. She looked it. And I mean, I obviously, like, I know Toni Storm wins that match, but like in that entrance, you're like, yo, this girl could win, right?
Yeah, so for me, Deanna, as you know, like Deanna Purrazzo was like a real personal favorite of mine. So I that for a long time. I never really cared about it. I stopped caring about interviews a while ago, but she's like one person I've emailed constantly since she got released from WWE. Like the second she got released from WWE, I was in her emails. Didn't get a response. Still haven't 5 years later. Come on, Tony. Come on, Deanna. But I've always found her real interesting, and like her TNA run kind of validated everything I kind of felt. I thought her TNA run was actually really good, and you have to remember that was also in the COVID era when there was nobody around, and then the whole Mickie James angle was great. And then she comes to AEW, and then like I immediately felt sorry for her because I knew exactly what was going to happen. She has that great debut and that great feud, that good feud with Toni Storm, and after that, it's like you don't really see her. She was pretty much in the background with Taya for the longest time until recently, where she's kind of come back and she's in this tournament for this Ring of Honor championship in ROH. But Deanna's really somebody that I actually like really want to see actually succeed. I think she's really, really good in AEW. I think she kind of just got lost in the shuffle or lost in the way Tony runs things for the women's division, because she just kind of fell into the pile everybody else does when they're done after their initial feud. As our good friend Jake Hager said, he's great with debuts, but after that,
yeah, sometimes like bring up the whole Ring of Honor thing. Like sometimes I really think it's a mix of like, I always like to think like the people that aren't being used on AEW, like not to like diminish like Ring of Honor in the way it came off with Deanna, but I'm always like, man, there's so many people, and especially the early years of Tony having it, you're always like, man, this person has like history in Ring of Honor. They should be doing this. This person used to be this champion. They should be doing this. But I think a lot of people look at it. I'm assuming a lot of these wrestlers probably look at it like, yo, it's beneath me. I'm not being used, but don't use me over there. I think a great explanation of somebody who was just like, yo, I just want to be used, and if I'm not wrestling on Wednesday, put me anywhere, was Brian Cage. Because like he did win a singles mid-card title there. He was a few-time Ring of Honor 6-man tag champion, and he kept getting integrated in different things. He would have like, yo, we need a monster to face this baby face. He'd show up. Hey, we need a 6-man group to face FTR and blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Here's Brian Cage with his 2 buddies. And he would always just show up and it's like, oh, wow, yo, did you know? Okay, look, here's some guy from Ring of Honor and he's got a belt on. So you always got to pick and play with some of these people. And I do think maybe a lot of these, like, we bring up that example. Those people that come from WWE and they don't get booked right. I think if they flounder or they disappear in 2 months, they should be like, yo, at least use me over there. Use me there now. Use me ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's just the way things just happen to go over there. And another thing
Well, who knows?